Welcome, gents. Manipulation only works when you doubt your own perception. Most people think outsmarting a manipulator means becoming louder, colder, or more aggressive. Sigmas know better. They understand that the real battlefield is not the argument in front of you, but the mind behind it. Manipulators feed on confusion, emotional reactions, and the need to be understood. When those things disappear, their power fades fast. This topic is not about turning into someone heartless or playing dirty games. It is about clarity. Sigmas move through life with a quiet awareness that helps them see patterns before damage is done. They notice when words do not match actions. They sense when kindness comes with invisible strings attached. Instead of reacting, they pause. That pause alone changes everything. If you have ever felt drained after certain conversations or questioned yourself after speaking your truth, this message is for you. You are not weak. You are simply dealing with someone skilled at twisting reality. Sigmas do not fight manipulation head-on. They step out of its reach. They protect their energy, their time, and their sense of self without making noise about it. There is wisdom in knowing when to speak and when silence says more. There is strength in staying grounded when someone tries to pull you into emotional chaos. These tactics are not about control. They are about self-respect and mental freedom. Stay with me until the end, because these 10 tactics are practical, subtle, and powerful. By the time you finish watching, you will not just recognize manipulation. You will know exactly how to stay 3 steps ahead without losing your peace. Let's dive deeper, gents. Number 1. They slow the tempo on purpose. Manipulators rely on speed and pressure. Sigmas create space. One of the biggest mistakes people make when dealing with a manipulator is trying to keep up with their pace. Manipulators move fast on purpose. They rush conversations, demand instant answers, and create a sense of urgency that makes you feel like if you do not respond now, something bad will happen. This pressure is not accidental. It is a tactic. Speed creates confusion, and confusion creates control. Sigmas see this clearly. Instead of matching that energy, they do the opposite. They slow everything down. They pause before responding. They take time to think. They let conversations breathe. This alone shifts the power dynamic. When you refuse to rush, you force the manipulator out of their comfort zone. Imagine someone pushing you to make a decision immediately. They say things like, "Decide now, or this opportunity is gone," or "If you cared, you would answer me right away." A Sigma does not argue. They simply say, "I need time to think," and then they go quiet. That silence is not weakness, it is strength. In that quiet space, the manipulator starts to reveal themselves. They may push harder, get emotional, or change their story. All of this gives you information. Silence does something powerful. It removes the emotional fuel manipulators depend on. They want reactions. They want explanations. They want reassurance. When they do not get it, their tactics lose effectiveness. A Sigma understands that not every moment needs a response. Sometimes the best move is no move at all. This approach also protects your peace. When you slow the tempo, you stop making decisions from anxiety. You stop agreeing to things just to escape pressure. You start responding from clarity instead of fear. Over time, manipulators learn that rushing you does not work, and many simply move on to easier targets. Here is the deeper wisdom. Control is rarely taken by force. It is often handed over through haste. By slowing down, you take back ownership of your time, your emotions, and your choices. You remind yourself that you are allowed to think, to pause, and to choose when you are ready. That quiet confidence is what truly keeps you ahead. Number 2. They answer only what was asked. No extra stories, No emotional fillers. This starves the manipulator of usable material. Manipulators feed on information the way fire feeds on oxygen. The more you talk, the more material they collect. They listen closely, not to understand you, but to store details they can later twist, guilt you with, or use to steer you. Most people do not realize this. They explain too much, overshare their feelings, and try to be understood. Sigmas move differently. A Sigma answers only what was asked, nothing more. If the question is simple, the answer is simple. There is no backstory, no emotional padding, no attempt to justify. This is not rudeness, it is precision. Precision protects you. Picture someone asking, "Why did you not reply earlier?" You could respond with a long explanation about being tired, overwhelmed, busy, and apologetic. A manipulator hears opportunity. They now know what makes you feel guilty and what pressures you. A Sigma simply says, "I was unavailable." That is it. No crack to push into. This approach feels uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to explaining yourself. Many of us were taught that clarity means saying more. In reality, clarity often means saying less. When you stop adding emotional fillers like, "I am sorry if," or "I did not mean to," or "I hope you understand," you remove leverage from the conversation. Manipulators rely on emotional hooks. They need your fears, your hopes, and your self-doubt to work with. When you give short, direct answers, they are left empty-handed. They may try again from a different angle, asking leading questions or fishing for details. A Sigma notices this and stays steady. There is also a calm confidence in this style of communication. It signals that you are grounded and self-assured. You are not scrambling to be approved or accepted. You trust your position without selling it. Over time, this habit changes everything. Conversations become cleaner. Drama fades. People who thrive on control lose interest because there is nothing to grab. And you gain something valuable in return: peace of mind. The wisdom here is simple but powerful. Not everyone deserves your story. Not every question deserves a full explanation. By answering only what was asked, you protect your energy, your privacy, and your power. Silence and simplicity become your quiet shield. Number 3. They never expose their final position early. Uncertainty protects leverage. One of the quiet strengths of a Sigma is knowing when not to show their hand. Manipulators are always scanning for your final position. They want to know where you stand, what you will tolerate, and how far they can push. The moment they understand your limits too clearly, they begin designing ways around them. Sigmas avoid this trap by keeping their final position private until the moment it truly matters. Most people feel pressured to explain themselves early. They want to be clear, fair, and transparent from the start. A manipulator uses that honesty against them. A Sigma understands that clarity given too soon becomes a roadmap for control, so they allow a little uncertainty to exist. Imagine someone pushing you to commit. They ask, "Are you in or out? Do you agree or not?" Instead of locking themselves into a corner, a Sigma responds calmly and vaguely. They might say, "I am still thinking about it," or "I will let you know when I decide." This is not indecision. It is strategy. The manipulator now has no clear target. Uncertainty does something powerful. It slows the other person down. It forces them to reveal their intentions. When someone does not know where you stand, they start talking more. They explain. They justify. They expose pressure points and hidden motives without realizing it. A Sigma listens and gathers information. There is also protection in this approach. When you reveal your final position too early, you invite arguments, guilt tactics, and emotional bargaining. By holding it back, you keep your peace. You give yourself time to observe patterns instead of reacting to pressure. This does not mean being dishonest or playing games. It means respecting your right to decide at your own pace. It means understanding that not every situation deserves immediate certainty. Some decisions need space before they are spoken out loud. Over time, this habit builds quiet authority. People sense that you are not easily cornered. You are thoughtful. You are deliberate. And most importantly, you are not controllable. The deeper wisdom here is simple. Your power does not come from announcing where you stand. It comes from knowing where you stand and choosing when to reveal it. In a world full of pressure and manipulation, uncertainty becomes a shield that keeps you steady and free. Number 4, they separate tone from content. A warm voice or aggressive delivery does not confuse them. They listen only to meaning. Most people get trapped by tone before they ever hear the truth. A soft voice can lower their guard. A loud voice can make them feel small. Manipulators understand this deeply. They use sweetness to disarm or aggression to intimidate, hoping your emotions will override your judgment. Sigmas do not fall for this. They separate how something is said from what is actually being said. A warm tone does not automatically mean good intentions. An aggressive tone does not automatically mean danger. Sigmas listen past the delivery and focus on the message underneath. They ask one quiet question in their mind. What is being asked of me right now? What does this person want me to do, feel, or give up? Imagine someone speaking kindly while pushing a boundary. They smile. They sound caring. They say things like, "I'm only saying this because I care about you." Many people feel guilty and give in. A Sigma hears the meaning, not the music. They notice that care should not require pressure. The tone is warm, but the content is control. Now flip it. Someone speaks sharply or emotionally, maybe even raises their voice. Most people panic or shut down. A Sigma stays grounded. They do not absorb the emotion. They listen for facts. Are there real concerns here or just noise? This calm listening often diffuses the situation because the manipulator realizes intimidation is not working. This skill takes practice because humans are wired to react emotionally to tone, but once developed, it becomes a powerful filter. You stop being pulled around by moods and performances. You stop confusing confidence with truth and kindness with safety. Separating tone from content also protects your peace. You no longer feel the need to match energy. You do not escalate when someone is loud or soften your boundaries when someone is sweet. You respond from clarity. Over time, manipulators grow frustrated. They cannot charm you into agreement or scare you into silence. Their tools lose power. What remains is the raw message, and raw messages are easy to evaluate. The deeper wisdom here is this: meaning never hides forever. Tone can distract, but it cannot change truth. When you train yourself to listen for content instead of delivery, you stop being managed by emotion and start making decisions from awareness. That is real strength. Number 5. They never correct false assumptions immediately. They observe how far the manipulator will build on a lie. When a manipulator throws out a false assumption, most people rush to correct it. They feel misunderstood. They want to clear the air. They think fixing the lie will restore fairness. Sigmas resist that impulse, not because they agree with the lie, but because they understand what the moment can reveal. A false assumption is like a test balloon. It is released to see how you react. If you immediately correct it, the manipulator learns where your sensitivities are. They see what bothers you and what you feel the need to defend. A Sigma pauses instead. They let the assumption sit and watch what happens next. Imagine someone saying, "So you did not reply because you do not care anymore." Many people rush to explain themselves. They argue, they reassure. A Sigma stays quiet or gives a neutral response. Maybe they say, "That is your interpretation." Then they wait. What follows is telling. The manipulator may add more claims, twist the story further, or try to provoke guilt. Each extra sentence exposes intention. By not correcting the assumption immediately, a sigma gathers information. How far will this person go without facts? Who benefits from this narrative? Does it escalate or soften? When someone keeps building on a lie, they are revealing their strategy. No amount of correction would have stopped it anyway. There is also power in not defending yourself right away. Defense signals vulnerability. It says, "This matters deeply to me." Manipulators look for that signal. When it does not come, they lose leverage. The emotional hook they were hoping for never lands. This does not mean allowing falsehoods to stand forever. It means choosing the right moment to respond. A sigma corrects when it is useful, not when they are provoked. Timing becomes control. This approach also strengthens your inner calm. You stop feeling responsible for managing other people's misunderstandings. You realize that truth does not need to be rushed. It holds its ground. Over time, manipulators expose themselves in front of others too. Their story grows inconsistent. Their assumptions stack up and collapse under their own weight. The sigma simply watches, learns, and acts when clarity is undeniable. The deeper wisdom is this: lies reveal more when you let them speak. By observing instead of reacting, you turn manipulation into information, and information, when handled calmly, becomes power. Number 6. They respond with clarity instead of defense. Defense invites control. Clarity shuts the door. Most people think defending themselves is strength. In reality, constant defense is often a trap. Manipulators depend on it. The moment you start defending, explaining, or justifying, they know they have access to your emotions. They can keep pressing, reshaping the conversation, and moving the goalpost. Sigmas understand this early. They choose clarity over defense, and that choice changes everything. Defense sounds like long explanations, emotional reactions, or trying to prove you are not wrong. Clarity sounds simple, calm, and final. When a sigma speaks with clarity, there is no anger and no need to convince. It is a statement, not an argument. Picture someone accusing you of being selfish for saying no. A defensive response would be explaining your reasons, listing your sacrifices, and trying to be understood. A sigma responds differently. They say, "I am not available for this." That is clarity. There is nothing to argue with, no opening for guilt or pressure. Manipulators thrive when conversations feel unfinished. They want you emotionally engaged and slightly unsure. Defense feeds that. Clarity ends it. It communicates that you know your position and you are at peace with it. This does not mean being cold or dismissive. It means being grounded. You acknowledge what was said without absorbing it. You respond to the situation, not the emotional charge behind it. When someone says, "You always do this," a sigma might respond, "I am choosing what works for me right now." Calm, clean, closed. Clarity also protects your energy. You stop replaying conversations in your head. You stop feeling the need to fix how others see you. You realize that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Over time, manipulators feel the shift. Their tactics fall flat. Accusations lose power. Emotional pressure has nowhere to land. Many will either adjust their behavior or move on. The deeper wisdom here is simple. You do not need to defend your right to choose peace. You do not need to explain your boundaries for them to be valid. When you respond with clarity instead of defense, you close the door to manipulation and open the door to self-respect. Number 7. They keep reactions boring. Drama is the manipulator's oxygen. Manipulators do not survive on logic. They survive on reaction. Emotion is their fuel. Surprise, anger, excitement, fear, even over-explaining all give them energy. Sigmas understand this, so they do something that feels almost too simple. They make their reactions boring. When a manipulator stirs drama, they are fishing. They want a spike in emotion. They want raised voices, long messages, tears, explanations, or visible frustration. Any strong reaction tells them they still have influence. A Sigma refuses to feed that hunger. Imagine someone trying to provoke you with subtle insults or dramatic statements. They say things meant to get under your skin. Most people snap back or defend themselves. A Sigma responds with something plain and neutral, maybe just "I see" or "noted" or a calm "okay." No heat, no extra words. The manipulator is left staring at an empty plate. Boring reactions feel unnatural at first, especially if you care deeply or value connection. But this is not about being cold. It is about being selective with your emotional energy. You are choosing where your attention goes instead of letting someone pull it out of you. Drama collapses when it is not mirrored. Without emotional feedback, the manipulator has nothing to work with. They may escalate briefly, trying harder to get a reaction. This is often the moment people cave. A Sigma stays steady. They do not rise. They do not fall. They remain flat. There is a quiet power in this. Calmness under pressure sends a clear message. You are not easily shaken. You are not available for emotional games. You are in control of your inner world. Over time, manipulators grow frustrated. They realize that chaos no longer produces results. Some will change their behavior. Others will drift away in search of easier targets. Either outcome works in your favor. The deeper wisdom is this: your reaction is a currency. Spend it wisely. Not every situation deserves emotion. Not every comment deserves a response. When you keep your reactions boring, you starve manipulation and protect your peace. Number 8. They remember one rule above all. If someone needs to control you to keep you, they already lost you. This is the rule that sits at the center of everything. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. If someone needs to control you in order to keep you close, the connection was never built on respect. It was built on fear, pressure, or dependency, and the moment control becomes necessary, the bond is already broken. Manipulators confuse control with care. They say things like, "I worry about you," or "I'm just trying to help." But real care does not cage. Real connection does not require shrinking yourself to be accepted. Sigmas understand this deeply. They know that love, loyalty, and respect grow naturally when two people are free to choose each other. Think about it. If someone constantly monitors your choices, questions your independence, or pressures you to act a certain way to keep their approval, what are they really afraid of? They are afraid that without control, you would walk away. That fear says everything. A Sigma does not argue this point. They simply step back and observe. They notice patterns. Does this person become uneasy when I assert myself? Do they punish me with silence when I disagree? Do they become anxious when I move independently? These are not signs of care. They are signs of insecurity, trying to wear authority. The moment you stop responding to control, everything shifts. When you calmly say, "This is my decision," and stand by it, you expose the truth. Someone who values you will adjust. Someone who needs control will escalate. That escalation is your answer. This rule brings peace because it removes confusion. You stop asking why someone acts the way they do. You stop trying to fix the dynamic. You realize it is not your job to be managed. There is strength in knowing that you are allowed to be chosen freely or not at all. You are not meant to be kept by pressure. You are meant to be respected by choice. The deeper wisdom here is liberating. Control is not proof of importance. It is proof of fear. And when someone needs to control you to keep you, they did not lose you in that moment. They lost you the moment they stopped trusting your freedom. Number 9. They use time as a filter. What survives delay deserves attention. One of the quietest but most powerful strategies a Sigma uses is time. Manipulators want reactions immediately. They create urgency, push for instant decisions, and try to make every moment feel critical. Most people fall for it because they fear missing out, angering someone, or being seen as slow. Sigmas see this clearly. They understand that time is one of the best filters life gives you. When something arrives in your life, you do not have to act instantly. You wait, you observe, you let the situation breathe. The longer it lasts without collapsing, the more real it is. The things that fizzle out, that disappear when left alone, never deserved your energy in the first place. What survives delay is often what matters. Imagine someone pressuring you to make a decision about money, loyalty, or a relationship. Most people panic. They respond immediately, fearing consequences. A Sigma pauses. They take days, if necessary. They let the person and the situation show their true colors. Often, the manipulator cannot sustain their pressure. They reveal impatience, dishonesty, or hidden motives. What remains after the waiting period is clarity. This strategy also protects your energy. By letting time act as a filter, you stop reacting emotionally to the loudest voice or the fastest pressure. You give yourself room to think, to analyze, and to prioritize. You no longer chase every drama or respond to every claim. The beauty of this is subtle but profound. It turns impatience into insight. It shows you who is serious and who is performing. It separates genuine intentions from manipulative tactics. A Sigma understands that speed does not equal importance. Delayed truths often reveal themselves stronger than anything immediate ever could. The deeper wisdom is this. Life will often push you to react before you are ready. A Sigma resists. They know that if something survives the test of time, it is worthy of their attention. If it does not, it was never theirs to begin with. Time becomes not just a shield, but a tool for wisdom and discernment. Number 10. They trust discomfort. If something feels off, they pause instead of rationalizing it. One of the quiet powers a Sigma has is trusting their own discomfort. Most people are taught to ignore that uneasy feeling, to rationalize it, or to push through it for the sake of others. Manipulators count on this. They rely on people dismissing the red flags inside them and convincing themselves that everything is fine. Sigmas do the opposite. They pause. They listen to the subtle warning signals their mind and body give them. Discomfort is often a signal that something is not aligned with reality. Maybe someone is asking more than they should, acting charming in a way that feels off, or pushing a boundary under the guise of concern. Instead of explaining it away with reasons like "I am overthinking" or "they probably mean well," a Sigma stops and examines the feeling. They sit with it. They do not act until clarity emerges. Imagine being invited into a situation that seems beneficial on the surface but triggers that gut unease. Most people rush to say yes, afraid of missing an opportunity or offending someone. A Sigma says nothing immediately. They step back, watch, and allow the situation to unfold. Often, the very pause reveals the manipulator's true intentions. The charm fades, the pressure increases, lies start to slip. The feeling was right all along. Trusting discomfort is not fear. It is awareness. It is an inner radar that filters what deserves attention and what does not. It prevents wasted energy and protects boundaries without drama or conflict. This habit also builds confidence. The more you listen to that internal signal and act cautiously, the stronger your intuition becomes. You no longer need constant external validation to decide what is safe or real. The deeper wisdom here is simple. Discomfort is a guide, not a problem. A Sigma understands that when something feels off, pausing is more powerful than explaining, forcing, or ignoring. Acting with clarity instead of anxiety keeps them steps ahead of manipulation, and it ensures that every move they make is rooted in truth rather than reaction. In final words, at the end of the day, outsmarting a manipulator is not about proving them wrong or showing them up. It is about reclaiming your own power and protecting your peace. Sigmas understand that the real win is staying grounded while chaos swirls around them. They know that manipulators thrive on doubt and confusion, and the moment you stop feeding that, you remove their grip. These 10 tactics are not tricks or games. They are tools for anyone who wants to navigate relationships and situations with clarity and confidence. By noticing patterns, trusting your instincts, setting boundaries, and keeping calm, you take back control of your energy. You learn to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. You give yourself space to think clearly, to see what is real and what is smoke. Remember, it is okay to walk away from someone who drains you or twists your words. Choosing yourself is never selfish. Every time you pause, observe, and make a conscious choice, you are strengthening your ability to handle life without being pulled into unnecessary conflict. You do not have to be loud, forceful, or dramatic to outsmart someone skilled at manipulation. Your quiet confidence, your ability to read situations, and your unwavering sense of self speak louder than any argument ever could. Trust that every step you take in protecting your mind and heart makes you stronger. Stay patient, stay aware, and keep practicing these tactics. The more you use them, the more natural they become, and soon manipulation will no longer be something that unsettles you. You will move through life with calm and clarity, always 3 steps ahead. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.